Labrīt visi skatītāji, kas ir pievienojušies Trešajai Izaugsmes programmas lekcijai. Mani sauc Ance Āboliņa, un es esmu SEB bankas inovāciju vadītāja. Izaugsmes programmas ietvaros uzņēmēji strādā komandās pie savām idejām. Un, lai tās idejas attīstītu labākas, kvalitatīvākas un no klientu puses varbūt pat vajadzīgākas, šodien šajā lekcijā mēs paskatīsimies uz to, kādi ir trendi pasaulē. Kas notiek mākslīgā intelekta jomā, kas notiek ilgtspējas jomā, tieši mazo un vidēju uzņēmumu segmentā. Šī lekcija būs angļu valodā. To pasniegs mūsu programmas partneris, Catalyst Venture partneris Arvidas. Un aicinu jūs visus arī aktīvi iesaistīties, uzdot jautājumus komentāros, kurus tad pēc šīs lekcijas es arī uzdošu mūsu lektoram. Ņemot vērā, ka lekcija ir angļu valodā, pārslēgšos uz to un aicināšu Arvidas. Arvidas, welcome to the stage. The floor is yours. Please
Thank you.
Give us more input on what are the trends in 2024.
Okay, perfect. Can't agree more with what she said. So, labrīt. Okay, let's start, yeah? So this is the long name of the presentation, or at least how ChatGPT offered to make it. So we'll talk about trends, we will talk about AI, sustainability, social impact. But first, yeah? So first of all, the question is who I am, probably. And, when people are presenting themselves, usually they are presenting from their business perspective. Yeah, what we did, who we are, what perspective. But actually, what I learned during all my years of doing and running different business is that, first of all, we usually connect on human level, yeah? On what human beings we are. So I want to start with this slide, actually. This is me, father of three. I like to travel, like nature. And last autumn, it was kind of not so nice weather anymore, as you see from the appearance. We took a camper. It was the first time, and fun story is that the kids said, "Oh, we enjoyed it so much, but next time let's go on a hotel trip." So that was the fun story. And of course, why I'm here as well, I have some experience in different fields. So first of all, I also worked in SEB for quite a long time, for more than 10 years. I finished computer science studies, so I have a IT background, have corporate background, but that was just beginning of my story. Later on, I went into innovation, finished some courses, and then I happened to become an investor, joined Catalyst Ventures as a partner, started to work with startups, social businesses, SMEs, to invest, to consult, to help them. And then, people are saying if you consult, you need to have some experience, in business as well. So I also had some experience. I created a few startups myself. I learned a lot. So people are saying either you are, succeeding at exiting or you are learning. So I learned a lot with these startups. Nevertheless, I learned. I also tried to invest into some of them, and I have few investments as well myself right now, active ones. So as an angel investor, so that's another experience of mine. And finally, recently, I joined also one interesting, down-to-earth business, let's say, co-working space in the seaside of Lithuania. So because it was always for me like digital businesses around, but now I also have experience of what is to run the physical business as well. That's another experience. So very wide experience, and today I will speak from as much from practical side as possible. And I'm really happy to engage with you, and any questions are welcome here, and let's have a discussion, okay? If you don't agree with someone or if you have different opinions, it's also very nice to argue, either now or during the workshop, which we will have afterwards, okay? So there are lots of trends, of course, around, but actually two main ones we see right now around are, first of all, some people are calling it sustainability, but I call it more like on social part, and I will explain what social means by that. So from one point of view, more and more companies and more founders, especially young ones, they want to create or join the companies who care about social part, about sustainability, about environment, about people. From another point of view, what we see is that it's AI over here. So, lots of people are saying we don't need to work anymore. AI will come and save the world. So actually these two topics are the main ones which are right now actual. So that's why I want to talk about them. And for the ones who will attend the workshop later on, the idea is that to take some ideas around what exactly you can implement into your ideas, what you can add out of these trends. Because sometimes you can find some added details and then we can encourage your ideas. For the ones who are listening, it's also good to think, okay, am I, here or where the trends are? So, one question you can ask yourself, can I have it both? We will also discuss about it. So both AI and sustainability combined and having some power inside. But actually the main question I want you to ask, or to at least to clarify, why you should care. Why it should be important for you. So this why should go through entire presentation, this 1.5 hours we will have, and for you to think from this lens, why it should be important for me. So I hope you will find your own whys in some moments there. And why I talk about it, as I said, I'm a part of Catalysta Ventures, so we work not only with startups, also with social innovation and SMEs. We had lots of experience in that one, and the difference, and maybe our angle for more than 7 years right now, is that we care not only about profits, which usually investors care, but actually from day one, we talk about also planet and people side. So all 3 dimensions should be inside of the companies we work, and I will explain more what we mean by that. And we worked with different companies, corporates, small ones, in Baltics, outside Baltics, different fields and industries, which maybe also some examples will go from there. So probably you know also some of the names here. For example, Electrum, or SEB, of course, because you were here, and so on. And we also measure what we do. So we'll talk about that today, especially in workshop sites, that it's not only about talking, but walking the talk as well. So we measure our financial success. It's quite impressive for us. We're happy about it. But we also measure environmental impact and also social impact as well. So, not just talking about that, but also moving to the KPIs and having them inside. So let's start with the first part, which we will spend a bit more maybe time today. So what is social or socially responsible entrepreneurship in 2024? And I want to start with one question actually. Maybe you can name, if people are saying social enterprise, do you have some example in your head? Someone can share example? Bolt? Okay, interesting one. Good. Why Bolt?
Because it's you can just, anybody can participate, and they don't need to be strong attached, but if you need something like
Perfect.
Extra money or whatever.
Nice. So you're very advanced in this topic. I'm very happy about it. Other ones? Any ideas? No? One more example. Social entrepreneur or enterprise. Still morning, yeah? Not so many coffee you had. Okay, so let's keep this thought in your head. So I want to start with some kind of common impression which people are thinking about actually when we hear the social part. So, when we have questionnaires, when we talk with companies, when we talk with investors, many of them are saying, so this is it. We are donating, we're having this company social cause like donating, giving food away. Yeah? Everyone is happy, it's very serious and important cause. At the same time, people are saying, but it's more like, it's not a business, it's social activity, let's say, yeah? And that's how people think about social business. A lot of them still think. I want to change your perception because right now, at least in the vast majority of the world, social entrepreneurship means a bit of that example. And I will explain what it is. Yeah. So Imperfect Foods is a company which takes from the farmers, takes the food which is not standard, let's say, and which is yeah, ugly. It may be ugly. It may be not standard. It may be not taken by the supermarkets or other producers. And actually, usually, of course, farmers would say, oh, we are just using somewhere else. But usually what happens is they're throwing away this kind of thing. So and then they're taking that, they're repackaging a bit, and then they're selling as a premium thing. So that's their business, direct business. And when we talk about social part, we can understand that there are very different things what they're doing. So first of all, they are supporting farmers for additional income, which they would lose, yeah, first of all. The second thing, part of the things the profits they are collecting, and quite significant part, they are donating to different organizations. So they're giving away this money, and they are still feeding and solving the food shortage problem. The third thing is that they are also reducing the negative impact on climate, because not so many things are thrown up, yeah. And the fourth very important thing, they have super profitable company. So, this is the common perception. This is what I want to talk about today. The new social business, which is profitable, which cares about people, but at the same time, they have a business model. And you can see that, and we will talk about that today, that it's quite complicated. It's not like, there are lots of different moving parts in that business model, but that's also very, very, very interesting and unique part. So this is more of social entrepreneurship today. And then you can think, when we will go for examples, can you take some parts of that as well in your business or not? Especially now building these new ideas here, yeah, in this program. So, the second message I want to give is that, and want to provide, is that, it's quite broad as well. So social is not only about caring about people, it's also about culture and environmental issues. And let me give you different examples and with different categories, which you can move and go and see. So first of all, it's environment. It's climate, energy, waste, and agro, yeah? So quite broad areas. Maybe some of you are working already on any of these. Yeah, some of you are nodding your heads, yeah. Not so much of raising hands yet, but we will come to that, okay. Little by little, it's still morning. And some examples. One company we also invest is Airbank. It's a company from Sweden and Australia. And they started with projects like offsetting CO2 for big companies. And we moved far from that. And their business model today is that they are supporting big organizations, very big organizations like AstraZeneca and so on in the world. And we need to offset, so they are still planting some trees and doing some planting projects, but it's a twist on that one. They planted a lot of trees. It was a project for 80 million euros, so in Africa and India. And it was not just trees planted. They gave these trees to be taken care by local farmers, which were trained to be farmers because they are not farmers before. And all these trees and plants were giving some fruits. So, the idea behind is that, they are using that offsetting money to plant trees, to employ new people when we grow trees and when we sell trees and when we grow vegetables or fruits, and when we sell these fruits as organic and premium ones to supermarkets. So then, as a business, you have margins in every area, but also you support farmers, you support big organizations by offsetting. You take care that this kind of you make it livable in that way, and at the end of the day, it's a big course. So it's one of examples. As I said, these examples are not usually super straightforward. They are quite complicated, but at the same time it's fun, and it's more on that side. Another one, it's a drainage system which used also in Latvia and all Baltic countries. It's a smart drainage system for farmers, yeah? So it has also two angles. From one point of view, for farmers, it's very good because, they know that the crops will use as much water as they need, and the rest of the water will be saved for the time we need it. But from another angle, it also collects like the excess of pesticides, which is usually happening around 50% of pesticides we put on the ground. Unfortunately, going not to the direct cause and helping vegetables grow, but actually going back to us with land and polluted water. So they also save it. So as you see, there are two causes, two kind of angles. Farmers like it. Actually, mostly, not so many farmers care about if some pesticides go to the ground, but they care about this water, yeah, because it saves them, it makes their harvest better. But the environment and some ministries and some funding I get not for helping farmers on water part, but on reducing pesticides in the ground. Yeah? So this is another example. The third one, it's Estonian company we also worked with. It's MarkDroid. So if you have a house, you might have also solar panels. Yeah, I have them. So I know who also have. And with the solar panels, it's a one still slight problem probably. Yeah, I guess so. At least for me. Usually you get all the energy when the sun is shining. But when the sun is shining, you're usually working somewhere else, not being at home. And when you come at home at night, sun is not shining anymore, but you need energy, you need to do all the household and so on. So what we did, we kind of connected the batteries which store energy from the solar panels to the Nord Pool system. And then for the countries who can already do that, they are automatically buying the energy when it's the cheapest. So whenever it's excess of energy, whenever it's all the green energy produced. And when they are selling that energy back to the grid, whenever the access is gone and whenever everyone is needing. So that in the sense, if you understand the energy field, so usually when it's evening, the companies like Electrum and so on, we need to provide still the energy. And what it means for them, it means we need to put some extra efforts. So usually we need to burn some fuels as well to make this extra energy possible and available. Yeah. So with balancing home grid energy, you can solve that as well. So again, it's a business, but also solving some energy problems. Yeah. So this is environment. Some examples from that side. So you think it's very broad. It's kind of be complex, but these examples are also showing. So another one is longevity. Who cares about longevity and well-being? I do. I think right now it's a very big trend. Yeah, everyone is talking about that, and startups and companies are also working towards that as well, and that could be also your area. Some examples. One company, it's a solar company from Malta, but actually we worked with one Latvian company as well. Mamamamait, that was the name. I'm not sure if they're still on that name or they changed it. And the problem we are solving is postpartum syndrome. Yeah, if some of you, I have 3 kids, so I'm not sure about you, but the problem which is happening right now in today's society is that families feel quite lonely. So we are not in tribes anymore. Usually we work and live in only families, like 2 people or even lonely mothers sometimes. And in that environment, actually, when the baby is born, it's very hard to survive from few perspectives. First of all, you don't know how to share the things, you don't know how to ask, and so on. So they created this a bit of digital help and platform to connect mothers in a way and connect with the people who can help them to survive, let's say, and thrive when the baby is born, and to connect with doulas and so on. So this could be one example of company who is caring about this, this problem. Another one, it used to be this food and drink industry, especially drink industry, used to be okay, I will make a very tasty drink. It will be lots of sugar, tasty because of sugar. And then, I will market that in the best way, and then everyone will go and buy it, yeah? But today what trend we see is that the drinks are becoming not tasty, but healthy. most of them in the way, and instead of going to alcohol or going to the sugar industry, many companies are thinking, okay, so I can rethink things and then make drinks healthy. So it's one of the examples from Lithuania, but there are lots of them using probiotics, using kind of different things to make drinks healthier. So that's another area. And you can think, okay, so if Coca-Cola is on one angle, so it can be another part as well, and then you can move to that part and say this. Another thing is mental health and anxiety, depression. It's also a big part of population is having that. We will talk about it later. It's one of the more than 1 billion people around the world who has or are diagnosed with some kind of let's say things around it. And we have a statistics, especially in when we talk about young people, around 30% of young people, the statistics are from Baltics, they are harming themselves physically. 30%, some of them very slow, very minorly, some of them are in a more way, because they can't deal with their mental health. So, it's a very big problem. And then, again, as a company, you can also be profitable, but also can think about how to deal with that and how to help solve that one. And this is one of the examples, some hardware device which can lower your stress levels if you wear it. So, environment, longevity. The third one is education. I will give you, again, a few examples. We also have quite, and as you see, there are all the problems are coming. That's why people are solving that, because there are big problems here as well. So in education level, I guess it's all the same like in Latvia, like in other countries around Europe. We lack of teachers. The system is not so good as everyone would like to. So actually, again, you can, as an entrepreneur, as a company, you can help to solve it. And a few examples. So one company here we also worked with, we try to engage with students in the different ways. So if someone has kids, they know Minecraft probably. Some of you know, or some of you have ideas. So they created Minecraft-like platform to engage with people. So they are with kids. So they're playing actually games, but in the back end. So it's a build program. So they're learning mathematics. They're learning languages. So it's a program built into that one. And that's a new way. And parents can buy a subscription. And instead of letting their kids just play Minecraft, they let them kids also learn some things while playing. So it's a smart move for parents. I'm also doing that. And another thing, another example, it's Estonian company we worked with as well. So what we do, we localize content on digital screens for countries. So they for smaller kids under school years. What we noticed is that there are, if we talk about, usually, we have some paper kind of books in different countries in your local language, but when we talk about digital tools, usually there are no ways for, if you travel with your kids somewhere, for a longer period, it's not so easy to find your local language kind of content. So what we created, they kind of translate and create this digital content for different languages. They are working like 40 different languages, including India, which is also quite interesting, and Baltic countries as well. And the last one, economical growth. So poverty, jobs, community, to fight that part as well. And one example here, it's our portfolio company Tingle. So what we do, they have gift experiences around the world. So you can, give someone, if someone is traveling to, Cuba from Latvia, you can gift them experience in Cuba while they are there, here in Latvia, while we're traveling. What we are doing differently, maybe we are supporting local communities. So, for example, this example in Cuba, we are supporting these local people who know the country, but they are not entrepreneurs anymore before. So we are supporting them to create their services, and then engage with the economy. At the same time, we are offsetting some not some, but 200% of the experiences. And their motto is that, and what we're doing, that we have a lot of things already in our homes. So let's not collect things anymore. Let's collect memories, and let's use experiences and learn about the world. Tom Shoes, maybe you know them. You know them, yeah? So their business model, what they are doing is actually, if you buy shoes, one pair of shoes, the other pair of shoes is given to someone who needs it, yeah? So they are helping to go fight for poverty. So these are 4 areas when we talk about social part, and you see how broad is it, yeah? So it's not like only sustainability, as we know that we care about, some climate. It's quite a lot of things. And different companies can tune in different things. It doesn't mean that you need to cover everything. It means that each company usually can find one thing we can fight for. So maybe we're ready for raising some hands. I'm not sure, but let's try it. Let's test it. So if you think that your business could kind of somehow solve a part of one of these problems or one of these areas, can we raise hands if you think so? Quite a lot of people. Some people don't raise hands yet. I hope you will join workshops so we can discuss and find something. So yeah, so this is my second message, yeah? The first one, as you remember, was that social business can be, it's profitable, it's a bit of different area, it's not like donating things. The second thing is very broad. The third question which you can have, or the next question which usually I get, and this is a very good question, yeah, but we can care about social cause, but then will be successful as business? Maybe, I don't need to care about that, and I will have more money and I will be more successful, yeah? So this is a good question. And why it's a good question? Because also, as I explained, and I want to repeat, as Catalysta Ventures, we are not talking only about environment and society, we also talk about economy. So every time some startup or company comes to us who has very brilliant social idea, we also say, okay, but if you want to be sustainable, you need to be also sustainable financially. Or as we said, this is your business longevity. If you want to thrive, you need to combine everything. So this is a very valid question. And I have some statistic points to prove you that actually caring about social part can help you. And you can become even more successful from financial part as well. So there are some kind of statistics. I'm not saying that it's always like that, but these are the statistics which we know. So from one point of view, from a long-term perspective, if you have some social part inside, usually you will have better outcomes in financial part as well. In a long term, this is very interesting part. Companies who have that angle, they usually tend to innovate more. Do you know why? Any ideas? I already told you in many examples, and you saw that their business models are quite complicated. Yeah, and they are doing lots of different things. We need to have lots of moving parts. So whenever you're creating such business, usually you are searching for these creative people. First of all, you are training your muscle as well, your brain, to be creative. And then whenever you face, whatever problems, whenever you want to create new products, you are also, applying that creativity. So that means that as an extra result, you also have this creativity and more new products, new product development, whenever you have a standard company without that. Because you are trained to that part, and your employees always are searching for this new angle, not like just going for operational model and delivering the things like sometimes it's happening in usual business. The third thing, investment, and this is also actual, I guess, for many SMEs. And we can talk about different, it's only one example here about EU money, but we can talk about banks, we can talk about other lenders, about other people with money, institutional lenders, what they care about and they need to care about because of regulation and because of different things. Lending money or getting money also becomes, very much related to sustainability, to social impact. And whenever you have it, you have better chances to be funded. That's also statistically proven. And the last but not the least, I'm not sure about you, but whenever I talk with businesses and I ask, so, and I have it myself with my businesses, so what's the biggest challenge? And usually everyone is saying the biggest challenge is to get best employees. Isn't it? So it's the same here as well. And especially if we talk about young people, which most of business also want to have. So let's have these young people, but somehow they don't want to come to my business, yeah? So they care a lot about why part. Why, I need to join this business. What greater good we can create and so on. So it's a better chances to get these people join your company if you have a social cause as well. So this is the example. And one more statistics is that on sales part, it's also more likely that you will have more sales if you have that angle. And why? I'm not sure if you are familiar with Simon Sinek and Golden Circle. Why? You're not. So if you're not, I will offer to Google and check it. So what he says, and it's a long video, it's really worth watching it, but people don't buy what you do, people buy why you do things. And if you think about yourself as well, of course we think we're rational people and we buy everything, we count everything and so on, but then, I usually ask, so how many of you have iPhone? And then, there are lots of hands, and then I say, if you compare this, this all the things, all the money for value and so on, usually it's hard to justify that. Then we talk about other things, and usually people are buying because they believe in the cause somehow. Sometimes it's super hard to understand because companies are working to hide it, not sometimes to say it directly why you do that, but we will have a few examples later on to show why, the company wise. But in the end of the day, this is very important as well. And if you know and you can communicate that, it can help you also to have better sales. So this is another angle. I'm not saying that it's 100% true, but what I'm saying is that at least think that adding social part is not sacrificing your profit. You can play in the same league, yeah, as other companies. So this is the third thing. Next question you might ask, okay, so I know it can be profitable. I know there are lots of variety of companies. Then I know that it can be even successful. But in terms of cost, in terms of integration, so maybe it's too expensive to balance. Or it's not, between sustainability, between social cause and business. And my answer is not like yes or no. It depends, I would say, and I will give few examples and few models how companies are working within this topic to make it real. So first of all, it's one model when it's called like inserted mode when impact and profit goes together. So wherever you make, it's all related to impact. So it's not separated. And I will give examples. You will see what it means by that. Another one is integrated when profit and impact is like you have some touch point. And the third one is external when actually you do your business and when you probably donate or give back to society. So it's detached. It could work all two separate models. And let's see a few examples. So first of all, inserted model. I will start with simple example, yeah? Natural farm. All clear, yeah? So wherever, if I grow another one vegetable, it's again natural. I don't have half natural, half like not natural farm. It's all natural. So everything I do there, I sell it, and it's all about impact. It's all about nature, yeah? So this is very simple example. Another one, if I resell used things. So I'm not building any new things. I'm reselling just used things. So every time I sell something, I already contribute to environment, yeah, in that sense. The third example, the company we also backed up, it's solid shampoos and solid cosmetics. So one of the biggest waste in cosmetic industry is packaging, actually, as you could imagine, yeah? I mean, especially if you have this fancy thing with big bottle or some kind of fancy bottle, and when you use it in 2 days, and when you need to throw it up. And in that sense, what we build solid cosmetics. So then the packaging is super small, and it can be paper. At the same time, we use also natural things. So again, for them, every time they sell it, it's all about, moving to, and they don't build like two lines. One is, solid, another one is like, a regular one. So all we build is solid, and then every time we contribute, and then their model is this inserted. Is it clear, yeah, about this model? So then everything you do is very well connected. Yesterday in Lithuania, we had an also example of packaging company. So packaging company, by default, packaging is bad, yeah? We understand that, but we also talked about how we moved all the operations from plastic to paper, and how we changed like this packaging, which is more expensive again, and we have different customers and so on, but they went also all in. So we don't have part of that. So we can't say, oh, for one customer we'll do plastic, for another one paper. We went full paper. So then again, it's a good example of inserted model. Integrated model, when just a part of your operation can be, affects with social impact. And I will again start with some simple example. If you use a lot of paper in your company and you go paperless, so yeah, it might be significant cost line for you. You save, it might be. I'm not sure, but in some companies we are. So then you save cost, but again, it's not usually your primary business unless you're a paper company, yeah? So it's a part of your operations covered, but not a main part, yeah? Maybe another example, if you are a retail shop and you use energy-saving mechanisms to work with fridges, like maybe you with lighting and so on, to make it like super economy, using sun grids and so on. In the end of the day, it also helps you, but it's not your primary business. Your primary business is to sell food, yeah? So if you go to energy, it's all. If you would sell instead of, I don't know, ham, you would start selling only plant-based food, that could be inserted model only, yeah? But supermarkets are not doing that. So we are talking about this model, which parts of the model are integrated only. And the third thing, it's also coffee I really enjoyed this summer. It's called cold brew. But the idea here is that if you have a takeaway cups, usually 95% of companies, they say it's paper, but it's not paper. Yeah? We know that it's part of that is also plastic. This company went to full paper and biodegradable packaging, which costs more. So, again, it's very good, it's nice, and we already kind of offset it, let's say, and changed one part of the business, but it's not their main business. We are not selling cups, we are selling coffee. Yeah. So in that sense, it's integrated. Yeah. So this is the second part. When part of that, your business is integrated with sustainability, but only part. And the third thing is external. Tom shoes could be one good example. And sometimes, and yesterday we had this discussion in Lithuania, that sometimes we think that external is always bad because, you're more like greenwashing, but we will come back later on what is greenwashing and what is not. So it's not always bad. If you rely on your business model, it can work. But in Tom Shoe's example, which I gave previously, you can always separate these two businesses. So you can always just sell shoes, yeah? And that's okay. You can survive on that one, and you can just not donate any of a pair of shoes. So, this is separate two models, yeah? Or a real estate developer who is planting trees in the environment. It's good that they're planting trees, but their main business is not about planting trees. They are building buildings, yeah? So in the sense, it's detached model. So you can plant trees just, without being a real estate developer as well, yeah? So this is another example. I'm not sure if you have it in Latvia, but in Lithuania it's very popular with Cake Day. Once per year, companies do that inside, and then where people are cooking pies, and then someone is coming and buying them, and then all the money they get, they donate to children. So this is how we contribute. A lot of companies in Lithuania started doing that once per year. They tend to collect very, fairly big amounts, but in the end of the day, it's like donating your money. So it's not related to your business model at all, yeah? So this is the third thing. And then, of course, if you think, okay, so where is if I want to make it the biggest impact, and if I want my impact to be attached to my business model and not to consume extra money, of course, it's this model. It might be some investment or might not be in the beginning, but then if you invest and you here, every time you build some things are already related to sustainability, so you don't need to think about sustainability strategy outside of your business. It's all your business. So your business becomes sustainability, yeah? With other ones, it might be tricky, but still possible. So we covered that part as well, yeah? So we talked about profitability. We talked about, it can be lots of variety of different ideas and fields. We talked also about that it can be more profitable even in regular business. It can be integrated to your business model, and it should be. And yesterday we had that discussion, and I want to give you also one example, and let's have a practical thing. Some of you can think, okay, but these companies, these examples you saw, they're not like regular business. What if I'm a paint company? I'm building paints which are, I'm painting decorating some walls. You probably can imagine that it's not super healthy, yeah? And not super friendly to nature usually. So if you are this company, what you can do?
Sell paint and take away buckets.
Okay, good.
You can collect them back and use again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All great ideas. More?
You can paint a kindergarten for free, for example, for
Mm-hmm.
fun for kids.
Yeah. How you can integrate your business model that every time you sell paints, it's always contributing to sustainability. And one company did it, so that's why I wanted to show you as an example. It's Gush Paint. And what we do, instead of making it worse and for environment, we invented a formula which purifies air. So each time you have your place painted, your air becomes better. Can you imagine that? Yeah. And also it regulates humidity. Of course, to sell it, and we are quite a successful company, but to sell it, we need to educate client a lot and to teach them and to show it and so on. But it also works very well into the sustainability area. So, this is just example how the company which was kind of on that field of pollution went to that, or at least the product from that field to that thing. And then every time right now they produce a new paint, it's always kind of contributing to sustainability and to social cause. So I'm not saying it's easy, but like with drinks, as we saw that example, you can be Coca-Cola, or you can be with another drink, yeah, which is using probiotics. So every time we think about every probably business or general idea, I mean, you can be on that angle, you can be on that angle, you can be in between. It depends on you. And especially now when you're creating, especially when you are creating new ideas, it's always a choice where to be. It's very hard to change your direction. It's possible, but very hard. But in the beginning, usually it's not even so expensive, usually, to be in some part. Because, I mean, with this packaging company, which they told, I mean, they just shifted to different customer who can pay more. They don't serve anymore other customers who were paying less, so their margins still are good in that sense. So they're spending all the time with, now they are getting these big contracts, worldwide contracts, because, I mean, this is new trend and big companies are looking to that one. They have all the certifications. So, I mean, it's just different business model, yeah? Compared to like if you go to plastics and you will sell it as cheap as possible in the market, yeah? So this is just, different strategy for you as business you choose. So, one more question which you can ask, okay, but as a business, I tend to be unicorn one day, yeah? To earn this 1 billion euros or dollars or whatever, or at least, I can scale, I can grow sales. What about impact? Can I grow or scale impact? I have good news. I will show few examples of few things which are related to sustainability and can also be scaled very broad. Because some people are thinking, okay, environment, poverty, it's actually not about Baltics. It's more about somewhere else, India, Africa, maybe, we are still living here very well. In terms of environment especially, we don't have so droughts, we don't have some lots of water. It becomes even nicer here to live. And during summer, yeah, we have the longer summers and so on. But there are things which also affects us. And let me give you some example how you can, starting from here, you can scale to become a billionaire and positively affect at least 1 billion people. So one thing which is common to almost all countries, unless you live in India, and we don't live in India here, we live here, is that people are getting older, yeah? I'm not sure if you can tackle that problem in a way that people are becoming younger. If you can, good for you. But at least what you can think about is that more and more people will become older. That means that absolutely new services should be invented. Absolutely new products should be in the market who serves that popularity. Either serves older people or serves younger people, because now younger people should take care of more older people, yeah? So in that sense, tackling this problem from one angle or another is one opportunity you have, and more than 1 billion people you can affect here. Another thing, emotional well-being, the things we touched, it's, again, more than 1 billion people feeling that problem as well. I have no doubts it's also happening in Latvia, in other Baltic countries, and throughout the world. So if you are covering that one, you can start small, but you can also grow very, very, very broad. It affects almost everyone in the world. The third thing, we also talk a lot about inequality. Unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not sure, but we're also becoming healthier and wealthier as a society. But at the same time, I mean, the gap in between of people is getting bigger, yeah, and we know it. And in that sense, it's another thing you can fight for and have some social cause, and then you can also go to the billion. I'm not saying that you need to go there. The point here was just to show that the social part you can also be, scaled to a very big audience. And sometimes, if you work on your regular business, on regular idea, in one country, it seems like, oh, it's a gap, or I feel that, it's a box, I'm locked there. So, with some social cause, you can unlock yourself to wider popularities, and you can start thinking, so, okay, what's the next step? Okay, and the last thing I want to cover from this topic, so how to start? We talked a lot about, different things. It can be scalable. It can be profitable. Lots of different areas. I can be successful. So now it's the time to start, maybe, yeah? And why people are not starting, or how some of them are starting, is like we see this communication and greenwashing around, yeah? And you probably also see it around. So some companies are communicating, and you might think, okay, it's about communication. But I want to show that it's not about communication. It's just the end point of sustainability or social part. Because to communicate, you need to manage. To manage, you need to measure, and to measure, you need to understand. And actually, talking about today and during the workshop, we will work around that one, and for you all to think. So first of all, you need to understand. And the good part of that one is that many of you, whatever idea you have, you already have or you can easily have a low-hanging fruit of positive impact. Sometimes it's a very small thing you need to adjust. So first of all, think about what you have today already, and then you can expand to doing more things. So whenever you understand what you have, you can think, okay, I have that, but okay, so how to measure that? So that's the next step. You're starting measuring. When you start measuring, you'll think, okay, now I know the numbers, so now I can start managing these numbers to make it smaller or bigger, depending on which phase you are. And then after managing that, you can go and communicate, because you have numbers. It's not about greenwashing. It's not about just telling what you do, but actually walking your talk. Yeah. So this is the framework, and the main question for the starting point is to answer this question, which I think is very difficult, to be honest, to answer for companies. So why I do what I do? And in your companies, do you have that? Do you know why you do what you do? Some of you, yeah, nodding, so you know. Someone wants to share? No?
We are working in sports club chain, My Fitness, maybe so we know why we do what our things. We want to improve our society health. We want that they are stronger, much more confident about them and their mental health. So we know our focus things.
Perfect. So and probably you all already moved to other dimensions. Some of the companies we consult with and work with, we don't have this framework, so we know what we do, but we start from knowing, communicate again, and then we lack some numbers. So this framework can help you to structure all the things which you do already. And sometimes, as I said, so just low-hanging fruits, which is also very nice. So I'm not here advocating for, okay, now you need to spend like 50,000 euros and many hours just to create something. Sometimes it's just, you need to start and it comes very easy. So we know what we do, why we do what we do. Many companies I met, they don't know that. So, the question is probably for you to understand why we do what you do. Usually it's related if you're a founder, usually it's related to the problem you want to solve, usually. It depends. So in some organizations, if you're not a founder, maybe founder didn't, communicate that, and sometimes you don't know, actually. Or even if you're a founder, you don't communicate to your employees, and then employees don't know, which is also not good. So it's good that all organization understands, and then you can move from that one. Few examples. Patagonia, you probably know this brand. I don't know if you know, but probably you know. And this is a very successful company, business-wise also. Even though, they always, because the founder was very geeky, I would say, even on nature, always, and we usually sacrifice the profit for sustainability. but somehow it works well for them, and then their products are even more wanted in the market, and that's what we get. And from very day one, they said that we're in business to save our home planet. So this is their why. Another very successful company, Lego. If you have kids, you of course know it. I also like to play it myself, secretly from kids. So, this is their why. And again, some people can say, oh, but Lego was always a successful company. So why we're talking about that? It wasn't. If you want, you can go and read their history. Quite recently, they were on the brink of bankruptcy. And then they came back to their roots, understanding why we do what we do, and then they started succeeding again. So it's sometimes even help for the business, but it's also help, of course, for their thing. So 3 takeaways from this first part of presentation, talking about social businesses. So first of all, social businesses can be profitable. I want just to, if it is one message I want you to understand, so this is the main message. So you don't need to sacrifice the profit. Just know why you do what you do, and try to lock impact into your business model. It will help you, especially with upcoming regulations. When we talk about sustainability, it will help you to be upfront and to be more competitive. So this is part 1. And now we are jumping to part 2. We still have half an hour. And part 2 is AI. So this is stability, one trend, and another trend is AI. And I want to start with common kind of thinking. There are 4 scenarios, or 4, I would call it scenarios, how people think about AI. And I want you to raise hands on if you think you believe in one of the scenarios, okay? And for the ones for the audience, think about it. Which scenario you think? It might be even 2 scenarios you think it will happen. So from one point of view, this guy Elon Musk, he's saying that AI will kill us all. Who thinks that AI will kill us? From here. No one, yeah? It's good. So you don't think so?
I think it could. So
it could, okay. And if Elon Musk, so how? He said easily. Easily. So this is one scenario, and some people are believing in that one. Another thing, it's another great guy, Mark Andreessen. He worked and invented one of the first internet companies. He invested into all social networks and managed quite good, significant returns, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on. He's saying AI will save us. Who thinks that AI will save us? It could.
By killing.
So, okay. Still not raising hands, but thinking, okay. So which is more famous scenario, first or second?
Somewhere in the middle.
More in that, more kind of,
Give us all the list. Yeah.
Okay. The third scenario, then people say, oh, we saw some innovations before, guys. One of the recent was crypto. It went up and went down, and some things, are dead already. Some things are going up a bit. It was VR. It was other technologies. We all believed it will save the world, but actually didn't, and, it's like that. So it's just, right now, AI is here. Soon it will go here, and then maybe we will survive. Who thinks this is the case? One at least, guy? Okay. Maybe. That's a popular answer today, yeah? I understand. Good. And the fourth thing, which some businesses are thinking, and I will use just one example, which is maybe not so positive, but let's talk about how businesses think about it. So businesses sometimes think, oh, AI can help me to make better returns, to save some money. And this is just a post from one of the corporates who said that they lay off people. And I'm not sure if that was the true or just their communication message, that part of the reason why we do that, it's AI. So who thinks that their business can benefit from AI. Quite a few, yeah? Okay. And filming guy raises his hand, so that shows that this is the most valid scenario. And actually, I believe in that one. And because I think in this kind of question and Hamlet scenario, will it kill it or not? I think it's hard to predict, and I wouldn't spend time on working on that one. But what I want to spend time today, so how AI could help us today or tomorrow. And this is probably the message I want to provide today and want to talk about. It's not about doing things after few years and so on, bright future. I'm thinking about today or tomorrow. So first of all, what can happen, and examples also from what we faced in our portfolio. So first of all, AI helped a lot with automation and robotics. And before AI, there are, I will say, one from digital world example, one from physical world. So before AI, from digital world, it was hard to, automate some operations because they were kind of, single operations or too kind of niche. And, it was too expensive to automate them. With AI, things changed because you can easier do that, yeah? The second part from robotics, it's also changed. In robotics, it worked quite well already, some automation solutions when it was in controlled environment. For example, coffee machine. There are some startups and companies who are providing this experience of making coffee like a barista way, fully automated way. Because, the plot, it's several only selections, nothing can happen, and, it's controlled environment. Or, for example, fries making machine. It's also kind of easy, it's very simple process. The exact temperature, exact amount of fries, exact time, and you can cook it like automatically. But in like harder environments, like for example self-driving, this is extreme example, but even for some not so extreme, if it is in open air, for example, it was super hard for robotics because you need to take into consideration so many extra things, like weather conditions, like temperatures, like, some kind of people moving and so on. It was impossible for robotics to make it. So with AI, it changed, and now companies are coming back to the solutions which were not possible before. So this is one area, and I give you some examples. So most of examples will be on digital film, but so one thing which, especially talking about small business, big businesses were able to do some parts of that, but we're talking about small business. So small businesses could not afford to have their own guy who covers analytics and data research. So all the forecasting models were not possible. Now, if we have their own data, and we will talk about data, this is a very important part. If you have your own data, which you trust, you can definitely avoid this extra person which you can't afford, and you can automate everything. Supply chain automation is another thing, again. And I will give you a few examples. You can read it. I will not read it, but just for you to unlock the potential, understand that maybe you can find somewhere yourself, or maybe you think, oh, maybe it's a furniture. I'm not in furniture. I'm in a different business, but it can correlate with me as well. And here are some examples of tools. So with tools, we also discussed that yesterday back in Vilnius, that most of the companies or most of the people, we know already ChatGPT. But ChatGPT is just one tool. So it's a very good tool. I agree. The problem with ChatGPT sometimes is that when we have data privacy, and we want the model not learning from our data, not including our data, that's kind of things which happen. So more and more companies are using this smaller tools which are happening within controlled environment. You're not giving away any data. You're training the model with your data, and then in the end of the day, you're working with your data. And it solves two problems. One problem is your data usually is more trustable. You can trust it. It's your data. When you take data from internet, you don't know if someone added that correctly, not correctly. So that's why sometimes from ChatGPT we get some weird answers. Yeah. With your data, you will not get weird answers if you have a good data. Again, good data. I'm repeating that, and I will repeat it more and more time. The second thing with that one. So first of all, yeah, it's with your data. Another one is this GDPR and closeness parts, but it's working with you only. You are training the model with your data, so it's also accurate not only from number perspective but also from logic perspective, and also it's secure and private. Like financial forecast is also another thing which is happening, and I added this ChatGPT, but another big thing which is trending and happening right now, and probably also faced that already, as I said in the beginning, is that smaller companies were kind of could not afford this, research and data analytics people. Bigger companies could afford it, and now you don't need it anymore, actually. Even with ChatGPT, you can try some exercises, and you can see, because usually, even working with bigger companies, what was the request and what was the task? So manager comes and says, oh, I need to have this and that Excel, I need this and that projection, I need whatever. I need to understand how we will do in 2025 based on some criteria. Take only if we have 1 million customers, take only this and this customers and project and build something. And when data analysts would go to take all the data, make some brilliant Excels and magic, and at the end of the day, he brings after a few days you the template, and then you have the statistics and so on. Now it's not needed anymore. You can do the same within minutes, and it's happening. So whenever the task is like input and output, and something magic should happen inside, you can have all, as a manager, as a business owner, you can have all the data outputs here. So for you, it becomes easier, and you can play around. You can think, oh, I wanted that kind of statistics. I see that, oh, maybe I missed that input, so let's recalculate with this input and so on. So it made it easier. Is ChatGPT always the best tool? As I said, no. It's not always the best tool, but it's worth to play with it as well, because it helps you to start understanding how to work with AI tools. And I myself use this paid version, for example, for GPT. Sometimes people asking, why use it? Maybe you can get everything like in this free version. But I'm saying, it's just 20 euros per month. For me, if I can improve myself at least 10% or even 20%, sometimes I feel I improve myself 50%. So, usually I want to earn more than 20 euros per month. So, my time costs a bit more than just this tool. So, this is the thinking I have, but, for you is to choose how you're thinking about that. So another field which is also affected and affecting more and more is enhanced customer experience. And in that field, probably you all serve customers. Who works with B2C area? Even with B2B, you might have quite a few requests. Especially in B2C, it might be a lot of requests per day. And usually you organize your service in kind of levels. So level 1 is the ones who are getting all the requests. And then level 2 is some more complicated questions. And maybe level 3 is even more complicated questions. So in the end of the day, many, especially small companies, what they're doing, they have service people. And the service people are solving all layers of questions. But the problem with that one was always like, you need to train that person for level 3 questions. So this is very knowledgeable person. They understand very deep your problems, your business, but actually we had like 80% of level 1 questions, like very simple questions. And then you still spend his time on this level 1 questions, and the level 3 questions, which are usually very complicated, hard. You're sometimes skipping, you're not serving it well, and you are late to serve, and so on. I worked in a contact center for 6 years, so I understand that business quite well. And so now it changed quite already significantly. For languages, there are still discussions, but more and more each day. I mean, each model is getting better even with languages. So I would suggest you to play around and see if it can help you as well. Because if it can cover like 80% or 70% of level 1 questions for you, so then you can have your person who is well equipped for level 3rd questions, so for very complicated questions, to solve them. And the person will be more happier, because I mean, in the end of the day, who wants to answer like the same question, and take like 70 requests per day if you can take like 10, but very complicated and fulfilling for you to solve. The same with customer relationship management or CRM systems. Who uses CRM systems right now? And the ones who are not using, so where you're adding your customers? How you're dealing with your customers, existing ones? If you have more like 100, for example, customers, and several people working with customers, so where you add their data? Excels? Or they know by heart everything that this is happening? So it's becoming tricky, especially if someone is leaving your company with all the contacts inside, so then, oh my God, things happen. So usually that's why companies are moving from some size to some CRM systems. And if before the CRM systems were not so sophisticated, I would say. What I mean by not sophisticated, so for example, if you use Excel or Excel-wise system before, what it meant for you is that you have 10,000 customers, let's say, in general. Or maybe with prospects, 1,000 customers and 5,000 prospects, so the ones who you want to be customers. And when you're reaching them, you're adding some commands, but whenever you want to make some campaign, you want to, have some statistics analysis, you again need to do this data analytics, to research, to find some kind of thing. So today with AI, you can make it automized and you can make it very personalized, and you can to trigger all the customers based on some kind of different criteria which you have, and that can be very, very personalized. And then your results can go way up. Another thing is solving complex problems, especially if we talk about problems which affect different data sources. I'm not sure who are working with hardware here, but whenever, for example, for farmers, they have smart tractors. They already have. But the problem with them is that, smart tractor data, and then the weather data, and then they have some smart sensors in the ground, and then we also have price kind of calculations in the market, and we also have some cost calculations, and it's not correlated. But if it would be correlated, we could optimize a lot. So today with AI, you can already do that. Connect different data sources without any structure. And it can be also put on business continuity. I remember businesses, I worked in one company before, and we had around 20 IT systems, which were crucial for us to serve 24/7. And we just had one guy who was always checking like 20 screens, like in this movie, Matrix, like always checking what's happening around. So now you don't need it anymore. And you could have these solutions before if you're a big company, because they costed a lot of money. And we should, some vendors would implement that within few years, and that would be long time consuming and lots of money. Now it's easier to have it just here and now. Also minimizing errors. Some people are using like 4 eyes principle. So if you still want to people to check it, so maybe it's not 4 eyes anymore, it's only 2 eyes. So it's only one person checking, and AI can be this another pair of eyes to check for errors, and that's again automate. And why I'm telling you all these examples is that in some of the cases, you as a small and medium business, you don't usually have a lot of resources. So each hour you save per week or per day, I mean, saves a lot of efforts, and maybe you don't need to, work nights anymore with AI. That's also a good reason to implement that. Yeah, repetitive tasks as well, and business efficiency. So one more thing, and what is interesting here is that even legal companies, if you think about, okay, and I really value my data, and in legal world, usually contracts are very much valuable. You can't share it, yeah? So there are tools who can assure you that, and it's all happening in your premises, so not outside, as I said. And if legal companies could use it, so your company usually could use it as well. So what tasks it won't take? And maybe some of you will be using AI for these tasks, so let's discuss. Maybe, I need to take it down from the list. So still, when we talk about human creativity and strategic thinking, and when I talk about strategic thinking, I usually talk about gut feeling and things like that, which of course, ChatGPT and other tools can help you to provide some kind of strategy tools and so on, but this will be, not so creative, like everyone could do. So here, it's one thing you can't change. Another thing is emotional intelligence. The third thing is judgment, ethical consideration, culture sensitivity, leadership, relationship building, and team dynamics, and And actually, it used to be, or people are calling these skills soft skills. Don't we, yeah? And actually, for me, it's always like, in the beginning, I also called them soft skills, but now, the more I work, especially talking with founders before investing to companies, I understand 100% that these are main skills I need in founders. It's not about building some stuff. It's about managing these parts. Because if, as a founder, you will have lots of different, and you had already in your business, lots of different hurdles, lots of different walls you need to hit, and so on. So these are the things which helps you to strive as a leader, as a CEO, as a founder. So the good part is that you are still needed as a founder, as a CEO, as a leader. And all these other tools are just to help to enhance you, to make you better. So with AI, and I think that's true with all the technologies so far, it enables people, not disables them. Especially people who tend to work with AI, to tend to understand things and go there. So this is good news, and the question again is how to start. And I have few things, few suggestions here as well. First of all, start experimenting. And by start experimenting, maybe some of you do, some of you don't, but I want to go beyond even you, but with your organization as well, and offer a few things. So first of all, most of these tools are cost effective. You can buy a monthly subscription for up to 100 euros. And then you can test this tool for 1 month, and you can understand if this tool works or not. And some of you are maybe smiling, but in some of the cases, what I saw in different organizations is that sometimes owner is using that, but the team is not using that, and different departments. And the best case scenario is that, you have your own employees, some of you don't, but some of you do. So then enable them as well. Let them use the tools. Pay for these tools. If a tool costs 20 euros per month, and you are saying, no, I mean, it's out of the budget, but think if your employee could do 10% more. So then it's already worth to invest. And people will be happier to try to use it. And then different departments might have it as well. And I have one company I'm working with, in real estate company. It's around 100 people, but still called like a SME company. So not so big in real estate industry. And we have like 7 probably departments, and in each department we have this budget to test right now AI tools and see what can be implemented or not. So it's cost effective, and from another point of view, you can never trust before trying. So that could be way, and I would definitely offer or suggest to use paid versions, not free versions. Why? Because usually in this free version, it's a demo, it doesn't have all the features, you will test it, but you will not see the full potential, and then you will not be able to judge if it's good or not. But good part is that you can do it monthly. The second part is collect data. And this is very important. One part why ChatGPT sometimes is not so good for you, because it collects all the data which is not trustful. Your data is trustful. So you need to have your own data to use it in a significant way. If you don't have your data yet, or you're not collecting, start collecting. Today, data became a gold. Many years before, many companies were thinking, so how to either sell it, which is not ethical and not so good maybe, or how to use or utilize data, and now it comes, the golden age for that one. Because you can connect different sources, and you can have all the output you want with your data. So start collecting, and whenever you have a question, do I need the data or not? If a new project is coming, for example, and you're questioning yourself, oh, do I need to spend like 5% more but to collect data, or maybe skip this 5% and I will not have data, spend this 5% and collect data. That would be my advice. So data becomes a new gold. Do not fall into misconceptions, and especially here I would say about your employees. And even yourself. So many people are fighting AI and thinking that AI will make them obsolete. I'm not saying that it will not make all the people, obsolete or not, but what I'm saying, or what I saw and what I think, is that people who will use AI, they will not be obsolete, that's for sure. So if you have your project manager or organization you will help them to start using AI, they don't need to be worried that their job will be obsolete. They will become this better person, and in the way they'll have even more opportunities, better salary, and so on. If not your company, another company, but even in your company, you would like to keep that employee who becomes more productive and more effective, because that makes more business to you. It's all about business, making more money in the end of the day as well, yeah? So, and try to think about uncover areas which used to be super expensive. What I mean by that, usually your bigger competitors or bigger companies in your industry are using lots of different tools. They are spending millions of euros sometimes, or maybe thousands or hundreds of thousands, and you can be surprised sometimes for how many tools they use and how many money they pay for these tools to cover cybersecurity, to cover kind of legal things, to cover kind of data structures and so on, these gigantic systems. Now you have a good reason to check what kind of output they get, and check for AI solution which gives you this output for 50 euros per month instead of spending all this money. And you can observe. So you can check your bigger competitors, what systems they're using, and check for alternatives in AI. And then, it's all for you. So I think it's a golden age for SMEs and startups. Some investors are stating, and I believe in that in 2-3 years it will be first 1 billion company who has only 1 employee. So in that sense, think about that. With all the tools, you can expand your capability, and usually when you're talking about your other competitors or bigger companies, why they are successful, and sometimes because we have lots of employees, you see. So now with AI, you can have a lot of power as well, and sometimes it's even an advantage for you, because now you have an opportunity without growing your costs to provide similar value to the customers. So think about that, and that's my key takeaway. So use it to make your business better. start experimenting with low budget, and I don't believe that AI will replace you, especially the founder mentality and the owners. I think it can help you to grow and become more successful. So, we covered 2 topics, and that was the question in the beginning, why you should care. So, I hope that during this 1 hour and a half, you found at least one small tip which you could go and implement. If yes, so I'm happy. If not, so at least you have right now different perspective, and most of you I will see during the workshop. And my time is up, so invite again Lekcija to continue.
Thank you, Arvydas. Please don't step away. I do have a few questions to you. One of those questions is that you told about how to log this impact into your business model. Question regarding like small, medium enterprises who have been in the market for quite a while. They have their product. How should they approach this? Should they revise their existing product, or should they think of something new?
So I can give again this example of this packaging company. So they decided to, but there are two ways, of course, to do both. So they decided, they just looked at their existing customer portfolio. They even hired one person, they said. That's how they decided to dedicate, at least for a while, one project manager on directly sustainability. And they had the strategy session in the management, and they rethink all the parts. And when they understood, of course, in every part, they made an excellent calculation. So what does it mean from cost side? How much effort we need to make? What kind of output we will get? So it's not like making crazy decisions. Oh, I will go full into innovation or into sustainability. It's about calculating and understanding. And then what we said is that when we put in the strategy, we started to implement solutions. For example, we have different machines we need to buy. So we are thinking, okay, from that strategy point of view, we want to go for this sustainability. Laminating machine, as we call it, we don't need to buy anymore. I mean, we don't believe it will succeed in 2-3 years. So we just, maybe it can still last for 5 years, but we will lead. So, I mean, first of all is to understand your why and your strategy, and then, from strategic point of view, make an Excel. Make this cost benefit analysis and go for it. I wouldn't offer to do that without calculating. As I said, I mean, I'm an investor. So whenever I'm talking about, you always need to have return. I need to have return as an investor, and you need to have a return as an owner. So in that sense, you need to have it locked as well. So it's not about, going crazy and doing crazy stuff if it is not worth it.
Okay, yeah, very, very good answer. Thank you for that. Second question is about, you showed some few tools on which we could use in the businesses. How to approach this question, meaning, do you have some kind of a tips and tricks or sources which business owners can use to check what are the new trends, what else I can use? Or is it just Google it kind of type of thing?
The tricky part with that one is that maybe now it's a bit of slowing down, but in the beginning it was around 500 new tools per day released in the world. And just to, think about that. Yeah, I mean, 500 tools per day. How? So, one idea, I mean, which I follow usually if I like the topic, I start to think, okay, so how I can collect the data? Because the data is a lot of data, so I can collect like in many ways. So I usually take some people whom I trust, usually not one, few sources. For example, right now in social media, there are lots of people who are like, working or living from AI in one way or another. I start following them, start kind of seeing, because they usually update daily what's happening, what kind of newsletters and so on. I choose like 1, 2, or 3 newsletters or sources, and then each day I spend like 10, 15 minutes on that one. And then, I start understanding myself. And whenever some tool is offered, I usually try to, go and check it myself. Because then you don't need to trust, you just go and check it. And so I have this budget per month I spend on just, using different tools. And I understand that, it's my learning budget. So it's not like I need to utilize and all the tools will work out, it's my learning budget. But people are, spending money on different things. Some people are watching movies, some people are traveling. I try to combine, of course, traveling as well. But my learning budget today is like, spending on these AI tools some money per month.
So basically, stay curious and incorporate some resources, either it's some money resources and time resources as well. Thank you very much once again for the lecture. I will switch back to Latvian language. Paldies visiem, ka pievienojāties šai tiešraidei un klausījāties šo lekciju. Aicinu arī viņu novērtēt mentī, lai zinām, ko un kā mums uzlabot nākamajās reizēs. Un runājot par nākamo reizi, mums ir palikusi pēdējā izaugsmes programmas lekcija, kas būs 17. oktobrī, un tā būs par to, kā uztaisīt to produkta mazumiņu un ātri to notestēt tirgū. Paldies vēlreiz, ka pievienojāties, un tiekamies nākamreiz.